guys, my name's Sophie and today I'm going to be doing my Q1 reading wrap up for you. Okay, so the reason I wanted to do this today is because, like probably quite a lot of you, I do like to keep track on what I'm reading, sort of year to year. Goodreads does that to an extent. You can see the quantity of the books you've read, but there's not a lot of breakdown in terms of factors such as genre, which is what I find particularly interesting. It helps me to examine what I'm reading, and I like to think that I have some sort of control over the media that I'm taking in, and that at least I'm aware of what I'm taking in. And this is one of the things that helps me. It's also entirely possible that what I see this year might influence the way I read next year and in the future. So I like to keep tabs on it. I like to check that what I'm doing is sort of diverse to an extent, and you know, that I'm interested in what I'm reading and to see what I'm actually doing with myself. I spend an awful lot of time reading. It's probably the biggest input I have from the media, and I want it to be valuable time that I'm spending, and I want to be learning new things, and if I'm just reading the same book again and again all year, I'm not really going to do that. Okay, so this is going to be done for January 1st to the 30th of April, so quite literally the first quarter. We're going to start with genre. So 31% of my reading has been fiction, unsurprisingly. There's only 10 categories to choose from in this spreadsheet set, so a lot of things are going to fall into fiction, and you know what, I'm fine with that. I think that's about right for me. And the next section would be thriller. So I read a fair amount of thrillers, I know I do, I enjoy that kind of thing. Again, not really a surprise to me. I feel as though I don't read as much as I do, but probably I class quite widely in terms of thrillers. And next would be dystopian. This is what I'm actually trying to pull down on a little bit, because I do read an awful lot of dystopian, and I find I'm not enjoying them so much as I read them. I like to read them less frequently and enjoy them more. And next at 10% would be graphic novels. Again, I really am enjoying graphic novels. I never read any till last year. I've sort of been introduced to this world, and I find they're a really quick, easy way to just blast your way through some books and just to spend an afternoon. I love spending an afternoon with a cup of tea and a couple of graphic novels, and I'm not ashamed of that. I don't think that's a problem at all. I'm still reading an awful lot. So 58 books so far, 52 when you take away graphic novels, and that's fine by me. Okay, so the next section is going to be the age that the books are directed at. I don't know too many people who sort of look at this, but it is something I like to look at. It's one of my more important ones for me. I like to think as I grow up and grow older that I'm focusing towards adult fiction, and I talked a bit about that in my reading YA as an adult video, which I'll link down below for you as well. So looking at statistics from the first quarter, 60% of what I'm reading is adult. My aim is about 75, so it's still a bit low, but do you know what, that's the majority by far. And 33% is YA, so you know, I feel like that's a bit where it's high. I'd like that one to be a bit lower, and to incorporate the children's, which is 5% as you can see. And you know, just sort of have those balance out a bit more and read a bit more adult. I really want to do that, and that'll be an aim I think for next year. And you know, I am doing 0 by 16, so to an extent I'm limited by sort of range of books that I'm inputting at the minute, because of the fact I am trying to read through a bulk of books I've already bought. But you know what, still it's not bad at all. And the next one I want to talk about would be the year that the book was published in. This one I found quite interesting really. I'd not really looked at this before as something I'd sort of, you know, made note of. The vast majority of the books I'm reading, 62% of the books, are from 2010 to 2014. So I'm reading really quite recent books for the majority of the time, and the rest are spread out through, you know, the early 2000s and you know, the 90s really, with only one book being published earlier than 1920. So really I am reading quite modern things comparatively. I don't know that that's particularly an issue. I enjoy classics to an extent. I much prefer modern classics, so that perhaps is why that falls a little higher. But to be honest, I'm not too worried about that. I don't think that is anything I need to sort of address. I like to be up to date with what I'm reading, and whilst I've not read that much from 2015, that's because I'm doing 0 by 16, so really I'm not reading that much that I'm buying this year. And the next category is author gender. This is one I do find quite important actually. As I said, reading sort of one of the few ways I do intake media, and I want to know that I'm at least supporting the genders somewhat equally, and I feel as I am. There's still a bit of a way to go, but nothing that I'm too worried about. At the current time, 55% of the authors I'm reading are male, 43% are female, and 2% are written by both male and female authors. Now the next category is the one that to me was kind of a bit shocking. I'm not sure why I'm so shocked, because I kind of know it already, but to the extent I think. 69% of the books I'm reading come from the United States. That's an awful lot considering I don't even live there. And it means I must have a very sort of US-centred worldview in terms of what I'm reading and what I'm enjoying. And, you know, I would like to be able to say I'm reading equally from all these different cultures, but I'm not at the minute, and it's not something I can see myself doing immediately, and it's not something I have, you know, a great desire to do at the minute. What I want to see, ideally, looking this year and next year, is I'm reading stuff from my own country at least. 24% of my current reading comes from the UK. That, to me, should be at least 50. I want to be supporting the people that are around me and the people that are, you know, growing up in the same country I am, and to be able to recognise that, to support the UK economy at the bottom of it, which sounds a bit odd, just it's reading, but you know. And I'm just funneling everything to the States. And don't get me wrong, I like books in the United States, clearly, but I want to be pulling that number down. I want to be supporting things more locally, to be able to know that I'm reading about, you know, reading people who are close to home. I enjoy that as an idea, and that'll be an aim for me next year, I think, is to try and buy more UK authors, and to mix it up to, I'll probably still always be more United States than anything else. I don't have grand illusions that I will spread myself out equally through all the continents, but it just seems a bit unbalanced to me. I don't know what you guys think about it. I know that a lot of YA and popular YA comes from the States, and that's probably why, because the YA is from the States, and you know, a fair amount of adult books are from the States, purely in the fact that I'm an English-speaking person, and the United States is much bigger than the UK, but the availability of the UK books should be easier for me, and I should be able to pull that back a little bit. Okay, so star ratings I'm not going to go over here because I did speak about that in detail in my ratings video. Feel free to check that one out if you'd like to. I'll link it down below as well. There's a huge list on there now, isn't there? But oh well. I'll just keep linking things until you get bored. So really the next thing I want to go through is, in terms of my purchasing, this is something I have never measured before, and to be honest I was a bit nervous too. I always feel like I spend all my money on books and it's all I really ever do. And you know what, it's a part of that, but it's not in total, and it's not an extraordinary amount of money for me personally, and you know what I'm earning day to day, and that's fine. I enjoy it, it's my hobby. It's fine, I'm not going to worry about it. But just to break it down for you, I buy about 10 books a month, and I'm spending sort of £70–80 a month on books. That doesn't seem too bad to me. That's 10 cinema trips. In terms of the genre of the books I've been buying, it does mirror the books I've been reading at the minute, and that's unsurprising to me. The majority being fiction, then thriller, then graphic novel, then paranormal, which is a bit of a new entry for me, but do you know what, let's go with it. And following on with the dystopians and the sci-fi and all those kind of things. And I've actually only read physical books this year, partly because my 0x16 is based on my physical books. I don't have an awful lot of books on my Kindle still to read, probably 3 or 4, but for me 0x16 means a clean TBR shelf as opposed to a clean TBR Kindle. Very easy to download sort of free classics on there, and there's something I might read. There's something I might read if I'm, you know, got my Kindle out, but they're things that for me are much less pressing, and that's fine too. I mean, reading should be what you make it. It shouldn't be that you have to adhere to certain things, and I think that's part of why I'm looking at these stats, because whilst I'm saying, do you know what, I'd like to do a bit more of this, I'd like to do a bit more of this, it's not bad what I've read. It's not, you know, I'm not ashamed that I've read from the United States. I'm not terrified that I'm going to, you know, fly off and go and live over there or something. It's just interesting, and I would like to be able to change things about it, but it doesn't mean what I'm doing now is bad. I don't think you should ever feel ashamed about what you're reading. I don't think you should feel ashamed about the genre. You know, if you love mermaid books, go read as many mermaid books as you want. That's absolutely fine. At the end of the day, it's something you enjoy, and it shouldn't be something that statistics bring down for you. Statistics should make it more fun. They should sort of educate you about what you're doing and let you enjoy it more, you know. One of the things that I want to do later in the year, which you might think is a little bit over the top, is to see what genre of books are actually getting higher ratings. So what genre of books am I enjoying more? And then maybe I'll buy more of those, and maybe I'll like it even more. Okay, so that has been a really long, really nerdy video from me today. Hopefully you guys like the numbers aspect of it. And I'd really like to know some of your statistics, if you do track your statistics. I always find it interesting to know what everyone else does and how they record their reading through a year. Okay, it's been lovely to speak to you today. Bye bye.